Imagine you're living in the 1930s, a few years after the Great Depression. Your name is Herbert Taylor, and you have a well-paying job that you love. It seems that you've got it made in comparison to the rest of the country who is just getting back on their feet economically. Now, because of your great notoriety, you are asked to help a local, almost bankrupt business get back on their feet economically. But this would mean a huge pay cut. Now, I want you to think, would you be that person who takes the leap of faith? Or would you stay in your comfort zone? Well, today, my friends, I want to encourage you. Take that leap of faith, just as Herbert Taylor did in the 1930s. Now, I can imagine Herbert would have some reservations before taking an 80% pay cut just to help the struggling Club Aluminum Company of Chicago, who was thousands of dollars in debt. But he took the risk. When you take a risk, you are separating yourself from the larger group, creating a persona that you're special. And as the time comes for us to apply to colleges, jobs, or whatever the next stage may be for you after high school, I implore you to do what may be uncomfortable for the greater good of your community. Herbert took the road less traveled in the 1930s, and in doing so, he created the Rotary four-way test that we know nearly a century later. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now, when the test was created, Herbert's attorney expressed some distrust for the legitimacy of the system and how it would work in the business world. But Herbert did not stop because of a naysayer. In fact, by his perseverance, the four-way test became a staple of the Club Aluminum Company of Chicago, taking it from a nearly bankrupt one to one that thrived economically. Now, the fear of uncertainty and failure, it lurks beneath every risk, but the only thing stopping you from actually doing it is you. You can't let the fear of what he might say or what she might think stop you from doing something potentially great. I don't know about you, but I feel a tremendous amount of pressure to fit into the popular bunch. In a world where our lives are constantly on display on social media, there is always a desire to feel relevant. This has sometimes stopped me from being the one who breaks away from the crowd and does something different. But one thing I've realized as I've matured is that it won't matter in 10 years, it won't matter in 5 years, it will not even matter in 1 year what everyone else was doing. I mean, I know I can't tell you what was in or what was out in the 1930s, but I can remember the four-way test. I can remember my favorite book, A Lesson Before Dying, my favorite song, Dead by Nicki Minaj. I can remember my favorite restaurant, P.F. Chang's on Friendly Avenue. None of these would exist if the innovators who created them, if they didn't take the chance to write that book or write that song, create that restaurant chain. Now, in 8th grade, I took a risk, one of the most impactful decisions I've made to this day. I applied to the International Baccalaureate program at Page High School, otherwise known as IB. IB is a high-level college preparatory program designed for outstanding high school students. When I completed this application, I had to overcome my inner negative thoughts telling me, oh, my grades weren't good enough, or I wouldn't get in. Even if I did get in, I would have no school-life balance. But overcoming these thoughts was the single-handedly most important part of the application process. I knew I was a great student, but had I let the what-ifs manifest, I would not be where I am today. Since then, I've been accepted into IB, where I'm currently thriving. I've become a leader at my school, being beneficial to the entire student body. I've met some of my best friends and made some of my closest relationships, overall building better friendships and goodwill. Colleges are reaching out to me. I have courses that challenge me and help me think of the world in a way that's bigger than you and me. And I now have an idea of the impact that I hope to make on the world someday. Overcoming these thoughts, again, was the single-handedly most important part of the process. I hope that because of that one risk I took, that in 20 years, you'll see me on Capitol Hill or at a conference. Maybe even when you turn on your TV, you'll see me on the news discussing environmental law. And remember, when you see me, remember I took the risk, and promise me that you will too. Thank you.